There we go. Okay, so this is the lovely Daniela. Daniela is a vocational educator, a group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, a Pilates specialist, a yoga instructor, and a life coach. I told you she did a lot. And Daniela is on a mission to make good health and fitness second nature for women experiencing the inevitable change of menopause. So Daniela, you are going to, I was just explaining to everybody, you're going to go through these 7 movement patterns. So get up, everybody. If you're in your pajamas still, it's okay. You can do it. Go for it, Daniela.
Thanks, Vanessa. Thanks for that lovely introduction. I firstly want to thank you, Vanessa, for allowing me to share this with everyone on the summit today. It is one of my passions, human movement, and I feel that these 7 basic movements are really going to get you to understand movement in general. So depending on where you're at, if you're feeling, low mood or low energy, or if you're, feeling active and doing, some, like Vanessa said, some crazy marathons, this will help you as well. So, however, today I simply want to share with you all just a minute, a snippet of what I've gone through in the last, I could say, about 7 to 10 years. And the picture that I put up that I've shared with you all is a picture of me about 7 years ago when I felt that I was at my fittest. And it's always the case. At that time, you still thought you wanted to get fitter and stronger. But I look back now and I think, wow, that change in life for me has really is a real eye-opener. And I understand with, premenopause and menopause, I'm in post-menopause now. I feel that it's really quite interesting how I thought I had all the tools in the trade to know exactly what to do when menopause hit me. And like I was saying yesterday in my intro video, it's like, wow, it really hit me that I didn't think that I was experiencing low moods. I didn't think that I had low energy. It's like, I'm a personal trainer. I know what to do. So really, I think my message today is to listen to our bodies. Maybe, yes, we used to do a lot more before. Maybe you're still, got that high energy, which is great. But if you're experiencing that low energy, low mood, sore joints, that's a really common issue when we hit menopause. I just want you to be aware of that. And I just, if there's one thing you get from me today, is to listen to your body and move the way you feel comfortable. So today, with these 7 basic human movement patterns, they really carry across every style of exercise. And the idea about maintaining our exercise as we go through menopause and as we have these changes in our body is to simply keep moving and really do what you love. It really is important that you do what you love with who you love. So being around others and showing up and being together and maybe doing a simple walk or doing a workout is ideal. And it might also be that you wake up in the morning and that's actually the last thing you want to do. You don't want to be around people. You don't want to move. You just want to lay there and do nothing. And sometimes that's okay too. So I wanted to share this with you because Vanessa has been a real support to me. I've had many sessions with Vanessa and I'm saying, who is this person, Vanessa? What's going on here? And she's helped me and she's actually been my rock. So I thank you for that, Vanessa. And so today I said, Vanessa, I really want to just share with everyone these movements because we do this every day and we do it in personal training, we do it in yoga, we do it in Pilates. So there's some great presenters today that you're going to really enjoy some other movements like Pilates and yoga. So start off with the first movement pattern. So, and please, if there are any questions, don't hesitate to throw a question in the chat. Forgive me if I don't read it straight away, but I will keep an eye on that. So don't hesitate. And feel welcome you to take your mic off and say, Daniela, this is not working well for me. So, it doesn't feel good, because these 7 movement patterns are merely variations of so many hundreds of movements in our body. And once you understand these 7, and I'm going to break them down, so when you walk away, you can just scroll them off at the top of your head. These 7 movements cover every muscle group in our body. So it's important, as we know, and this all might be information that you already know, but sometimes we need to be reminded. I know I did in all my years. I've been an aerobics instructor since 1989. And sometimes I read something that I wrote and I think, oh, that reminds me I'm not doing that anymore myself. So, really listen to your body and move and make it feel good. So let's get started with the 7 basic movement patterns. Our first movement pattern is what we do every day. We walk. All right. So some women have found that walking is the only thing that feels good for them, and they've stopped the training, or they've stopped doing a lot of the gym work because they come away feeling really tired, which is a normal symptom of menopause, and really sore in the joints. So there's evidence and statistics that show that the elastin in our joints really toughens up. And so these are the side effects that we will get and feel, a sore shoulder and sore hips. My back has been the sorest it's ever been, and I have had a niggly back throughout. So I've been, having to manage that. And then I think, I'm getting back into it slowly. I'm feeling great. And then, my back flares up again. So understanding how to move correctly is helping me continue to move, because the main purpose of human movement is that we are we do move as people. So we don't sit still for long periods of time. We do need to sit still to recover, or to meditate, or to sleep, but we are built to move. So when we wake up in the morning, it's imperative, and there's more scientific facts out there and research, that you do get that natural sunlight in the morning. And if it's not, if you don't feel energized in the morning, that's normal too. You don't need to go for a big walk. I just get up and I get out in the sunlight and I do a lap of 5 minutes, and I come back and I do some of these movement patterns I'm going to show you today. And that stimulates, energy for the day. Just like when the sun goes down, it stimulates that calming hormone to help us sleep. So when we walk, it's quite interesting how the gait is an analysis of walking. So in human movement, we look at a person's walking style / their gait, and we identify they could be walking short, they could be taking small strides. So this is an indication of the hip joint not as mobile as it could be. So when you're walking, I just love for you to feel be mindful of just feeling your feet on the ground and walking quite mindfully on your heel, on your toes, push off on your toes. This is another thing that has appeared is the sore joints in our toes, so especially our big toes. So we want to keep those mobile. So the purpose of today is not about fitness as such. It's about movement and mobility and flexibility. And from that comes strength. And from strength comes increase in fitness, energy levels, and mood. So the next movement pattern is broken down into 2. It's the push and the pull. So we push and we pull back, and we work the chest, and we work the back when we pull, and we work the chest when we push. All right. I was talking about compound movements, which mean we are utilizing more than one joint So that means we utilize more than one muscle group. Now, isn't that efficiency in exercise? That's what I love. I want to do more in a smaller amount of time. So the push-up is about working all our chest muscles and getting strong in the upper body and working our triceps. Because when we move the joint, we move the elbow. So all the muscles around the chest and the arms, that muscle that keeps waving when we stop waving, gets stronger. So that is the push. And the opposite to the push is the pull. So when you're lifting up the washing basket, when you're picking things up off the floor, we're working in that pull movement. So they're back and bicep muscles. Again, the back has a heap of muscles, as well as the biceps. When we're pulling, we're predominantly working our biceps. So there's three. We walk, we push, we pull, and I'm going to take you through these gentle movements, and there are so many variations. So before I start, I'm going to check in with you all to make sure that there isn't anybody here with some major injuries, but I can guarantee you that the exercises are gentle, and I'll give you many variations to avoid any issues or soreness, of course. So gait, the walk, push and pull, and then we have the squat. So the squat is something we do every day. We sit down, we stand up, and the idea of the squat is that we're working, again, compound exercise, working all the muscles in our bottom, our glutes, our hamstrings, the back of our legs, our quads, the front of our legs. This is strengthening our hip joint, our knee joint, and the ankle joint comes to play in this exercise as well. So I've noticed with my mum and with my grandmother, they all used to get up off the table, pushing with their hands to get themselves up, and they all had sore wrists. So the important thing here is that we work the squat patterns correctly. You understand how to use your muscles in your lower body, and you do it in correct form. That's the other thing that's so important. If we use correct posture and form, we will engage and enable all the muscles in unison to work together and to strengthen our body. So the squat. Now, from the squat comes a variation of the squat, which is called the lunge, which can also be called a split squat. So the lunge is very useful, and it's actually, if you need to pick one exercise today to go away with and start to work on, and this is something Vanessa helped me with as well, the lunge is actually a really important exercise, because as we squat and split the legs into a lunge, we're opening up the front of the hips, and we're working our legs in a different way to how we work the squat. So the lunge will make you strong in the legs. So when I was going through that, I don't physically feel like moving at all, and fatigue and tired and low mood, Vanessa said to me, just do one, and I'm like, one. So, and yes, I did one, and I had built up to 12, and that is part of my normal, maintenance strength training workout every day. So coming in and doing 12 lunges a day and splitting that up as the day goes on. Because if we're working and sitting for long periods of time, we really do tighten all the joints in our body, all the ligaments and tendons tighten up. So we get quite stiffer than we may already be. All right, so the gait is the walk, the push and the pull. We've got the squat and the lunge, that's 5. And the last 2, bending and twisting. All right, so again, bending is really important. We bend over to pick things up. And sometimes when we bend, we actually overcompensate in our lumbar spine. So we tend to bend in the lower back rather than using the whole lower body to bend and bending at the knees. So, some of you are aware of ergonomics and making sure that you move correctly, or you sit correctly at your desk, or you stand. That's something that I've adopted, is the standing desk, and I love it. It gives me more energy during the day, and I feel like I can focus more. So whereas sitting down, I just start to get more tired and more tired during the end of the day. And there's no right or wrong, sitting and standing, a good variation of the two is ideal, as long as we don't spend, the whole day standing or the whole day sitting, just, obviously breaking it up. But sometimes when you get busy and you want to get something finished, you're really not focusing on yourself as much and how your body's feeling. You're just focused on your job. And that's something I'm guilty of. Working from home, I thought, fantastic, I'll have all this time now. I can do all my, exercise. And then you get stuck in front of that computer and you think, oh my gosh, the day's gone and I didn't do that walk, or I didn't do that movement. So really important that you can do all these 7 movements in front of your laptop, like we're going to do today. So yes, the bend and the twist. And we do twist, and the twisting is really important because we have got a greater range in our thoracic spine. So that is the rotation of the upper back, your torso. So when we're twisting and turning, I don't know, some of us with kids in the back seat, well, my kids have grown up, and the great news is my last son, number 3, has finished his last exam yesterday. So I have no kids in school. But when they were little, there was always a twist and a turn to pass things to them. And we want to twist and turn and feel free as well with our neck and shoulders. We kind of get quite stiff looking at a screen, and we turn and we think, oh, that's a bit tight. So understanding the correct way to twist our torso. And like I said, there's a greater rotation in the twist of the upper body than there is in the lower body. So that's why our lower back can be one of those areas that can be quite sore or can get quite sore. And there's 80% of the population that have had or have a back injury. So if we're all ready to go, I would love to take you through these 7 basic movement patterns. I don't want you to think that this is a workout. I'm just demonstrating some of these movements. I want you to feel how these movements feel for you. And I want you to walk away and feel that, yes, I understand good posture now with all these movement patterns. So are there any questions before I ask you to perhaps stand back or from your computer or stand up? Because you can do these just with a little space around you, no gym equipment needed, just your own body is your best piece of equipment. I can see a question there. I know I need to move more each day. I try and walk most days, but I need to challenge myself to do more movement. Yes, I am a big girl, so I struggle with some exercises. I can relate to all of this. I have weak knees, so squats I'm okay with, but lunges, yes, no good. I understand that, and that's something that I will demonstrate how you can build up to doing a full lunge without that knee pain. It's all the positioning of our joints that will help you. But please, if today doesn't feel great for the lunges, please stick with the squats and perhaps grab some tips that I give you for the lunge so you can start working on those really slowly. Yes, overheating is an issue, and the headaches, absolutely. It's like that's the last thing you want to do is heat up your body in exercise. And if your head's sore, it's like, please, it's the last thing. So this is where that meditation and mindfulness and working on our core strength is really important too, where you can breathe in and breathe out and activate important deep muscles in our core, like the pelvic floor and the abdominals. So yes, your neck is often sore. Gosh, have I written this question, or is very similar to all the things I feel? Fantastic. So yes, I highly recommend allied health professionals. So I'm glad to hear that you're seeing a chiro. And this is something that I'd like you all to, walk away, and perhaps if you haven't already, or if you're seeing an allied health professional, to talk to them about some of your movements and what you can do to start building up that strength. So, yeah, so I understand, regardless of your goal, increase my movement. Thank you. Hopefully I am giving you some great ideas, and please keep those questions coming because, yes, Vanessa.
I just saw Narissa said she has a mental block where she feels her body is more fragile, so don't even attempt bending from the knees.
Ah, fantastic. Yes. So if you feel that, see, the knees, all these joints are talking to us at the moment. And, you know, I've come from, you know, I've had 3 children, I've had back pain, and I have got wear and tear of the knees. So I don't know if some ladies feel they can actually hear the knees crunching when they do the squats and the lunges. And that is common as long as you don't feel pain. But if you feel pain, that's where that mental block comes into it. And it's just a natural reaction. And yes, listen to that. Don't do the squats and lunges standing, maybe do them laying down. Because what's happening with all the changes and the hormones changing in our body, we get all these symptoms. And with those symptoms come that, you know, lack of energy and, oh my God, what's happening to my body? And I too, you know, I would start and I'm thinking, I'm getting back into it again, fantastic. And then bang, my back hurt again. And I couldn't move as freely as I used to. So I would, again, highly recommend seeing an allied health professional, a physio, a chiro, an osteo. Even a masseur is fantastic to relieve the muscles around those joints that hold our joints together. Those ligaments and tendons are really strong tissues. And so they can get quite stiff and hard. And when you do these patterns, these squats and lunges, they're pulling on that joint. So positioning these joints, like I'm going to show you today, is actually really going to help you. And I would recommend, if you have a band, as simple as a band, and they're really cheap at Kmart or sports shops, the bands you can also do laying down and putting them at your feet and pushing them. So I can show you that as well. Does that answer your question? So like I said, some of these movements may not be for you right now, and that's okay, because if we don't feel great, that's not going to make us want to do exercise, is it? So don't push it, just do what the body feels. Now I'm going to bring my screen down so I can demonstrate some of these exercises for you, and I want you to feel comfortable to join in or not join in. And I want to also ask, I know that there's a few here, we've got some knee concerns. Is there anyone else that would like to participate in, you know, a small way that have got any other injuries that I can be mindful with? Because every exercise, like I said, out of these 7 movement patterns are derived from thousands of exercises, and there's lots of modifications for you. Anyone with any back issues or shoulder or hips? All right. If you have, okay, thank you, right shoulder and neck and knees. Okay, fantastic. So please go to the range that feels comfortable for you. As soon as you hit that point of this doesn't feel right, I want you to pull back before then. So make the movements small. So just to start with, we're going to start with the first movement, which is the gait. And with your right shoulder, I want you to be mindful. Shoulders is quite a common issue, that limited range of movement in the shoulder is quite common in menopause as well. So please be mindful not to lift the shoulder or bring your arm up above your head. Keep everything close to your body, your elbows close to your body, and move your arms. So as I take you through these movements, and I'll only be about 15-20 minutes now, as I take you through them, I will show you these variations, and you can try them and see how they feel for you. All right, so I'm going to step back and take you through the gait first. So if you're just walking around your desk, I want you to feel that, tell me if you cannot see me, but I just want you just to walk just around your desk, even in a little circle, and feel the ground under your feet. Feel free to take your shoes off if they can slip off easily, because we really want to feel all the muscles in our feet. These are so important in all the movements that I'm going to take you through today. And just walking on the spot and just feeling the feet walking from the heel to the ball of the foot to the big toe. And then I just want you to take one step forward like you would in a walk and see how far you go. Just take one step and have a look. Is it a short stance or can it be a little bit longer? So the idea is that we lengthen our gait to engage more muscles in our lower body. When we take those short little steps, we're really not moving the hips or the knees as much as we could. So really feel that nice opening through your walk. So when the next time you go for a walk, take a slow but long stance and push off, most importantly, with your toes. So I want us to just stand and lift the heel off the ground and feel that you're flexing your toes. And that is actually the starting point for the lunge as well, without coming down into the lunge completely. So for those who feel that the lunge is too much for them. So as we walk, we've got the ankle, we've got all the joints of the toes, we've got the ankle, we've got the knee, we've got the hip working. And then we've got a slight rotation of the pelvis as well. So this is where the actual lower back comes into play. And then our posture is about bringing the shoulders back. And ideally with our posture, our ears need to be directly over the tip of the shoulders. Naturally, we're moving the head forward a lot, gravity, looking at our screens, and we bring it forward. And so we put all this tension, every centimetre, the head moves forward and away from the centre of the shoulders. There is load and pressure in the spine and the neck, as well as tension in the muscles. So first thing is posture. The plumb line is about being tall, feeling you've got a piece of string coming from the top of the head and feeling the ears behind the shoulders slightly back and down, and then bringing our tummies in, just a little 3 out of 10 contraction, and then taking that walk. And here you'll feel that opening through the hip flexor, so we're stretching the hips, we're working our muscles in our glutes, our hamstrings, our quads, and we're getting that mobility through all the joints of our lower body. Any questions there with the gait? I just want us to really feel that beautiful stance and that rotation of the body that we do or we do not have when we're walking. So that's the last thing I want to talk to you about, is that when we exaggerate the walking patterns, it's really the whole body working. So that's why walking is so popular and low impact and quite beneficial, because we are strengthening all the body as well as improving our cardiovascular fitness. So any questions on that? So when we're working with our posture, we're walking around. Now with the squat, I know that the squat is something that I can see done really well, or I can see how the knees are being affected and why some of these squats and lunges don't help. So I'm just standing to the side so you can actually see a squat pattern done properly. And of course, when I say properly, I've had a lot of change in my body. So I'm feeling that a lot of my movement has changed as well. But just being mindful of how to engage all these muscles is helping me get that strength back again. So as we squat, we're not breaking at the knees. we're actually simultaneously bending and flexing from the hip and the knee and the slight bend of the ankle. So we want to stick our bottom out like you are sitting on a chair that's too far away from you. So let's just do that. And I said earlier, if you don't want to come too far down, I would just practice doing that squat halfway. And the idea is, if we stick our bottom out, we're actually moving the joint at the right angle, and we're not putting pressure on the knee doing it this way. All right, so let's just do a few of those and exaggerate. Really push your bottom out, keep your chest up, core on, remembering that initial stance, which is our posture. Inhale, exhale to come up. Inhale, exhale to come up. Bring the shoulders back. Just feel that in your whole body, using the breath. And it's natural that the knees want to lean forward. I want you to keep thinking. There's one thing I want you to think about with the squat is really putting your bottom out. So 2 more. That's it. And last one. So holding it here, and we can come deeper if you feel like you can, or you can come higher if you feel like that's enough for you. So really feel that within your body. Feel your posture, your core. Every exercise is an abdominal exercise. Every exercise, we can engage the pelvic floor muscles if that too is something that you want to work on and focus on. I know with having 3 boys or 3 children, Pilates was also really important to understand all those deeper muscles within the body and how to be stronger to support our internal organs. That's what the pelvic floor does. And to keep us strong through the core, because our tummy is a pillow for our spine. All right, now the lunge, like I said, just practice the lunge in a split squat position, arms by your side, and those with sore shoulders, please keep the arms by your side. You can move the arms if you like, with just at the elbows, or we can really bring our whole arm into play here. Now, as we lunge down, I want you to focus on your pelvis. When we bring the leg back, the pelvis just wants to come forward because all the muscles here are getting stretched, and if they're tight, if your gait or walk is short, you end up with tightening through here, and then the pelvis has to move. So we're going to tuck that tailbone under and then forward and under and forward. Now this is an exercise that you could do to strengthen and get started with the lunge, because we're opening up the hip flexors, because sometimes sore knees can come from really tight quadricep and deeper hip flexors. So if we can get the mobility going and the movement in the joint through the hip, that then helps stretch the quadricep and helps relieve that tension around the knee that the quadricep pulls. So here we are, we're tilting and we're rocking forward and back. And we can start to just bend the knee and straighten it. Bend the knee and straighten it. And feel that in your big toe at the back. So feel that flexibility. And just 2 more. And last one. Doing 10 or 12 or whatever feels good of those is really great in awakening all the muscles and improving mobility in our joints from our toes to our hips, and just a gentle bend of the knee. So there's not too much pressure on the knee. Now, if you are able to come onto the floor, this other variation to the lunge is really great, because the lunge is important for everyday life because we want to be able to pick things off the ground and do a lunge. And so as you come into this position on the floor, we're at right angles with leg on the floor, right angle front. So we've stacked the knee joint on top of the ankle. And so as we come up slowly, we tuck the toes under, the weight is even over the center of the body, and we come up. And that might be as far as you go. If that hurts as well, that is not the best lunge pattern for you either. So obviously the full lunge is coming down and up. We can reach the arms. We can bend at the elbows to keep the shoulder stable. We can bring it out to the side. We can do circles. And we can swap sides, picking your variation. Might be as simple as standing there so you get the hip flexor stretch. It might be just bending at that knee a little bit, coming down and up. You might want to tilt the pelvis forward and back. So you're getting that stretch through the front of the hip flexor of the back leg, helping stretch the quad as well. You may come down just halfway. And sometimes people feel pain in their knees in the lunge because they put all their weight in the front leg and then the pressure just comes straight into the front of the knee. So one of the things I always say is pretend you're on a merry-go-round and your body is the pole of the horse as you come up and down. So good posture. And this is as simple as you can go. No pressure on the knees, but strengthening all the muscles that are in this lunge movement pattern. All right, ladies, so we've got the squat. We did the gate, we did the squat, and we did the lunge. So now we're going to do the push and pull. So again, with shoulders, I would highly recommend seeing an allied health professional, but the idea of strengthening our shoulder, the first point of call is putting our shoulder joints, because we have two moving parts to the shoulder, in their ideal position. So it's called scapular depression and retraction. So what we're doing, we're bringing our shoulder blades together and our shoulder blades down. So that's the first moving part, which is our shoulder joint, the back of the wings here, of our back. And we're going to bring the shoulders behind our ears again. So when we do our push and our pull, these moving parts, both the shoulder and the scapula, those angel wings in our back, are moving to move our muscles. So the simple push can be really mindfully pushing forward and pushing back, pushing forward and pushing back. Inhale, exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together. So this is a really lovely one to do in the morning using our breath. Inhale, exhale, push. Inhale, exhale, push. You can come onto the wall and you can lean on the wall and we can do a push-up. If you've got an exercise ball, you can do it on the exercise ball, but that is quite unstable. So I would recommend not using an exercise ball if you've got a sore shoulder or sore shoulders. However, in the push-up, we've got ourselves on all fours. We're stacking the wrist joint now, the elbow and the shoulder, and we're just going to bend at the elbows just as far as you feel comfortable. Our lower body is at right angles as well. So remember, it's really important to stack our joints one on top of each other, because that's how we were built. We're built with utmost posture to be the strongest we can be. But during our lives, our daily movement patterns, we change our posture because some muscles are overworking and some are underworking. So working that push-up is really quite simple. And some of you might be doing push-ups on our knees, so we can come down and up. We might be doing push-ups on our toes. So really feel what's right for you and understand that if that doesn't feel great, I would just work with that simple push and pull and push and pull. And this is engaging all the muscles around our shoulder joints, our arms, our chest, our back. And to add resistance, because they speak about resistance to improve strength in our muscles. And when our muscles are strong, our bones get stronger. You can add a band or resistance bands. So that is our push, and our pull can be simply pulling back, squeezing the shoulders and coming forward, pulling back and coming forward. So you feel what's right for you, and there are hundreds of variations. And if you're interested to know more and to understand what feels good for your body and help you put that little workout together for yourself, please don't hesitate to reach out to me and Vanessa, and I'll be more than happy to help. So we've got down to the last two movements, and we're going to do the bend. Now in Pilates, we see that there's the roll down. So as you roll down, we're articulating the spine. But in the bend, we can also bend from the hips. And ideally, that's where that movement comes from. Now, with lower back issues, we don't want to stiffen and straighten the legs because it puts pressure on our back. So you want to just bend at the knees and have soft knees, and then bend from the hips and keep your back straight. So just doing this simple exercise, especially if you're sitting most of the day, really stretches the hamstrings, wakes up the muscles in the legs, and gets those hips moving when they're quite still if we're sitting. So from there, our last is our simple twist, and this is a beautiful move. This is my favorite, the twist. So rotating, as I said earlier, from the thoracic spine. And as we move, have a look at my feet. I'm not locking my feet. I'm not keeping them firm on the ground. I'm just allowing the feet to lift up. So I'm not trapping the knees or pulling on the hips. And if you feel like you can with your arms, this is sometimes, for those who have shoulder issues, this feels quite nice. There's no tension or pressure in the shoulder, but it's just gently moving freely. So feeling that lovely rotation through the thoracic spine helps improve our gait, our walk. So to wrap it up, we've got walking patterns, posture. We're using the whole placement of our feet, our toes. We've got the squat, squatting down, inhale, exhale, sticking the bottom out, keeping the chest up, core on. We've got the split squat, the lunge, holding, perhaps just bending at the knee to get stronger there, or coming down and up and then swapping. If you want to do static or swap, there's so many variations, and that's got to feel good for you. Then we've got the push, the pull. We've got the push up, just a gentle push up. And we're pulling back. The other pull can be on our tummy as we pull up into a back extension. And then from here, we come up into our bend, our hamstring stretch, or bending up and down. And then we do a twist, and the twist using our breath. You may want to just close your eyes here for a few seconds and a few breaths. Inhale, exhale. Just two more. And relax. And the last thing I'd love to share with you, ladies, is one of my favourite sayings. And it's simply, we don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. So all these movements, you know, look at them as fun, as playful. I've removed my coffee table from my lounge room so I can stretch and move whenever I feel. So please, if there's one thing you take away today, is that you've understood posture and how to move correctly, and 7 exercises that can take you 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever suits you. And thank you, Vanessa, once again. I'm sorry, hopefully I didn't go over time.
No, you're fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I was just doing some stuff in the background.
Yes.
So I'm not sure whether you saw this question and has answered it, so sorry if you have, but how many should you do of these to feel the benefit? Did you see that question?
I've just seen it now. Thank you. Yes. Now, my recommendation is as many as you feel comfortable to do. I don't, you know, we're here for, to feel better, to move freely. So if it feels good for you, you're going to do 1, you're going to do 2, you might do 10. So there is no right or wrong number. And I'm sorry to disappoint you, because some people say, tell me how many and I'll do them, you know. And like Vanessa, you know, recommended to me as a personal trainer, 1 lunge, you know, like, come on. But that one has led to, you know, a really consistent routine in my week and day. So as many as you feel comfortable is my answer, you know, just feel it in your body and move and feel good when you move. I hope that answers.
So I tend to feel I have to do more, or else I'm not doing anything.
Yes, that's a great mental block that we all have, and very much relate to that. And once I started to feel that I'm just doing something that just feels good, and it will then evolve and you'll feel better. And it just is one little step at a time, you know, chunk it down, pick one, and then you'll build off that, because there's no right or wrong number. It's what feels right or wrong for you. I think I've said that enough. But yes, again, I can give you a program and I can say, you know, start at 8 and build up to 15, and then do that 3 times a day, or do it 3 times a week. However, this is why that one-on-one coaching is so important, because what one person may not be able to do the lunge, but they can do all the upper body work and the core work, and the other person can't do all that upper body work. So you're working on the lower body predominantly. So hopefully that answers that question.
I would like to add something to that, and I know you're going to agree with me, Daniela. It is better to do, for example, 1 lunge or 1 squat or 1 back extension, 1 whatever it is, and do it really well, so you feel it in your body, than do 20 and just, you know, for example, like a bicep curl, you can do this, or you can do this and really feel it, you know. So if you do it really well and focus on your posture and your form, as Daniela has just told us, you can do less, but it is greater benefit for your body.
Absolutely, less is more.
Yes.
And like I said in the push and pulls, I could have shown you, you know, push-ups on your toes and go to a pull-up bar and pull yourself up, but that's not realistic. What's realistic is that we get that movement in our shoulders, you know, and if we start to get stiff in our neck and shoulders, even that feels like sore. So, you know, just push and feel that full range of movement, because like I said, it's about mobility in our joints, getting that movement more than it is fitness at this stage, because we may not be sleeping at night and we wake up in the morning with low energy, and that's exercise is a stressor, and that's a good stressor. But when we haven't slept and we haven't replenished all those beautiful hormones overnight, we're not going to have the energy, and it's going to stress us more. And that's where we become less, I lost my train of thought there. But when you're not sleeping at night, I don't want you to go in and try and do as many as you can. Like Vanessa said, just do that simple movement and feel it. So
and
range.
If you haven't listened to Tara's talk that was just before Daniela, if you hopped on a little bit later, it excuse me, links in so well with what Daniela's saying about being tired and things like this, because in that part of your cycle, or abnormal cycle, I shouldn't use that word abnormal, but irregular cycle I should use, you need to listen to your body and do what's right for your body, rather than thinking I have to pump out 3 sets of 25 reps and run for half an hour. If you're really feeling tired, your body is saying you're tired for a reason, and listen to it. I think that's going to be our mantra.
That's the message. That's exactly right. Our body talks to us, but we tend to ignore it because we, you want to push through and reach that goal and improve yourself. But in this change, it's different. And that's what I found really hard too, is that what I used to do and what I'm doing now, it's different, and it's okay, because that's what the body needs right now.
So everybody, I just love this little message from Narissa. So much wonderful information. I already feel less anxious about moving. That is perfect, Narissa.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing, that anxiety around moving stops you a little bit, and then your body starts getting stiffer, and then you feel like, oh, I can't move, and it goes in ever decreasing circles, or just going circles. See, I might have lost my thought too. So I'm so happy that you feel less anxious. Brilliant. Now, just quickly,
think like a fit person, I always say, even though we don't feel as fit, but what would a fit person do? Just have that mindset that, yes, I'm feeling like this, but what else can I be doing? So sorry, Vanessa.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Everybody can get hold of Daniela. I was going to put all links in, but I am being a juggler today, so links aren't happening. Sorry, everybody, but I will send them to you. Do not worry. You can get in contact with Daniela. Tell them how to get in contact with you, Daniela, and your gift today for everybody.
Fantastic. So my Facebook page is simply Daniela Second Nature Fitness, and feel free to message me any questions. Really happy to help with any questions you might have. And I just have 2 vouchers that you can use and reach out to me. So I can actually, if you're interstate, we can do a Zoom. If you're in Melbourne, we can meet, just to take you through some of those movements and to talk about what feels great and what doesn't feel great, and what alternatives I can give you to help you move freer and feel good about that movement.
Fabulous. And one last thing, it's like I can't stop talking now. Thank you so much, Daniela, for being so totally honest, because in this time, like you said, you've been a personal trainer and, done all these things. And I think we feel like, oh my God, my body's falling to bits, my mind is going to bits. But at the same time, you feel like you should say, yeah, I've still got it all together. Yeah. So thank you so much for being so honest and truthful, because it takes a lot to be able to go, my body was falling to bits and this is what I have had to do. And even to say, these are the steps that I'm taking day by day to still get through everything.
Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate that acknowledgement, because it is hard. It still is. It's not something that is past tense. I'm still living through it. Weight gain, energy levels are low. But these are my little saviour tips that I talk to myself about. So I'm so happy that I've been able to share that with you and given me the opportunity to do so. So thanks again.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I'll let you go. Daniela has to go and work now. Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, ladies. Thanks for all your questions.
My pleasure.
Bye.
See you soon. Bye.